one thing, because I kind of forgot about this, as you're cleaning them, just check and make sure you have that groove in them, because then you'll know that you've got an ostrich, fern fiddlehead. So just as you're cleaning them, just make sure that each one of them has got the rain groove in it. Okay, time got away from me the last time, and I didn't end up showing you the fiddleheads we picked, but that's okay, because I'm going to make myself, it's so good, I'm making myself another bunch of it. So anyway, here's some fiddleheads that I got cleaned up, all set and ready, and then this is a wild leek, and I'll put up a picture of what a wild leek mat looks like. Wild leeks tend to grow in large clumps or mats in wet areas, and I'll show you a picture of one of our wild leek areas here on the farm. But anyway, so I've got a small handful of fiddleheads and one wild leek, and I'm going to, wild leeks, this is the leaves, just in case you need to know. And your big rule of leeks, onions, garlic, wild garlic, things like that is if it smells like onion, garlic, leek, if it has that alum smell to it, it's that. So if you pick something like this and you clean it up and you get it home and you're like, it don't smell like an onion, it's not an onion. Okay, don't eat it. Because there are some, with the onion family, there are some poison lookalikes, but there are no poison smell-alikes. So foraging is not a visual, just a visual way of gathering your food. It is a full sensory, all 5 of your senses that you use to do it. So anyway, I'm going to chop up this. I'm going to take the root. I was going to just show it to you what it looked like before. I did clean it up. It obviously will have, they grow in marshy, not marsh, I should say, more swampy areas. They like to go out in the deep woods. They're one of your first greens, so if you're walking along and you come across this large mat of these big leaves like this, and it's early in the spring, more than likely you've come across the leek mat. So anyway, I'm going to clean this up and get these guys in. I put a big dollop of fresh homemade butter in the homemade sweet butter, by the way, in the frying pan here, and we're going to start cooking these guys up. But first I got to process that leek. And why, if anybody, even domestic leeks are actually much worse than wild leeks, but you still got to kind of keep an eye. I'm going to grab a knife here. You still got to keep an eye on your, what knife do I want? Not that one. That one will do. You still got to keep an eye on it, because leeks have layers, and so you certainly don't want to be, sometimes the dirt can get down into the layers, and you don't want to be dealing with that. So we'll just chop off the end. And the leek I'm going to cut, but I'm not going to do, nope, looks pretty clean. Oops, where are you guys? Looks pretty clean. So the leek I'm going to kind of cut up because I want the flavor. I do have a bad spot here, so of course I'm going to take that out. And you can eat the whole leek. Most people will say, oh, eat up to where the red and the green come together, and don't eat the leaves. The leaves. I may do that this time because I only have a small handful of fiddleheads, so I don't need a whole lot of the leek. Got just a little bit more of a spot there. But I eat the whole thing. In fact, even if I don't eat this in this dish, I'll saute it up right afterwards and eat it. I'm going to just chop these up because I want the flavor as well as the leek itself. And a wild leek is sometimes described as partway between garlic and an onion. Take a little bit more. I think that's good. Partway between a garlic and onion, and that's a okay comparison. I'll give it to you. A wild leek tastes like a wild leek. You know you're eating something from the onion family because it has that characteristic onion flavor to it, but it's not, you're not in there going, this is a cross between, most people don't. It tastes like a wild leek. So I'm going to kind of lift you guys up and give you a better view here in just a second. My battery light is flashing, so we may be stopping you halfway through. But anyway, we'll just get, this is nice, fresh, homemade. In fact, it's probably was only made probably about less than 2 hours ago. Butter. And just going to put that in my pan. Now I'm going to start cooking this on a low heat, though not that low. I added that. Oh, let's get it just a little bit higher. And then I'm going to cook the leeks first, and it's really just simply sautéing it. I'm not big on browned leeks, so I'm just right at this moment wanting to put the flavor of the leeks into the butter. That's the main thing. And then after, as these will cook fast. So once they start getting a little translucent, we'll toss, once they start wilting a little bit. I guess wilting isn't the term which you use for onions, but when they start getting a little softer, then we'll throw the fiddleheads in. It's totally from the wild. It's a spring dish. You can take these and blanch them and put them into the freezer. They do freeze pretty easy. You can pickle them. I love pickled, but I still have some left over from last year. But I loved pickled fiddleheads, and most people tend to pickle fiddleheads in just a little bit of a oriental thing. I don't. I like my garlic and my onions. Like I said, I'm a garlic onion fiend, so I tend to pickle them almost like a kosher dill. They're very easy. You just pickle them very similar to pickling pickles or cucumbers. So very easy to do, and you know, put your favorite flavors into it. Everybody's like, oh, I need a recipe. Basically, mix a little vinegar and water, and from there on, put whatever your favorite flavors are in there, because you're going to be the one cooking with this. So I'm going to toss in my handful of fiddleheads. So here we have a nice little fiddlehead and wild leek side dish, and it's pretty good. Already had one, and have another one. Nom, nom. But I gotta wait for the rest of it to eat it with my steak. But talking to you with my mouth full, but you're not looking at my mouth, so it's not gross for you guys. Some people like a little ginger in this, and if you want to stay with this wild food theme, there is, of course, a wild ginger. I was thinking of taking you out and showing you the little brown jug. Wild ginger is often, out here in the backwoods, we often call it the little brown jug instead of wild ginger, but you can grate up a little bit of that, and that adds a little bit of a ginger bite to it. You can add morel mushrooms to this. They come out the same time of the year. We've got just a nice little spring side dish of sauteed ostrich, fern, fiddleheads, and wild leeks. Nice wild food diet. You didn't pay for anything, unless, of course, you don't make your own butter, and then you had to pay for the butter. But other than that, the main source, your main food source, is free for the taking from the wild. So give it a try. Wild. I've eaten most of it at this point, but ostrich, fern, fiddleheads, and wild leeks sauteed up together, delicious.